So today is the day. I'm starting The Secret History. I'm reading it for the first time, and I'm excited. It is January the 7th. We'll see how long this takes me. I think it's like 600 pages. Looking at myself holding up this book in the viewfinder is like, these aesthetics do not match. But I just got this cardigan, so I really wanted to wear it today. Me saying, I really think I like this book while being dressed like this. I swear, I'm a dark academia girl, really. I just like this cardigan. And a really colourful bookshelf, apparently. So yeah, I'm going to start this, and I'll come back to you when I have thoughts to share. If I do say spoilers, I'll just put a thingy. So if you haven't read this, then I'm assuming you can watch this video. I haven't edited it yet, so I don't know. Editing me, come in and tell the people if they can watch this if they haven't read the book. And if you haven't read this, why not read along with me? Obviously, you won't be reading along with me because I would have already finished this by the time this is published. But you know what I mean. This is your sign to go and read this book now. Wow. So I've read up to chapter 5, which is page 192. The fact that chapter 5 is only on page 192. The 50-page or more chapters really don't do it for me, but I am reading it pretty quickly for me anyway. Normally, like short chapters, I read a lot quicker than longer chapters. I think I really started to get into it by like chapter 3. It really just picked up after then. I have some thoughts and opinions about some characters, but the thoughts and opinions I had on some of the characters literally changed in the last chapter I read. So don't know about that one, but there's something that Bunny does. So basically the story is that within the first page we get told that they killed this guy called Bunny, and then it's basically this one guy just recounting the story of like what led up to it, like, and then I'm guessing how it happened, and then afterwards I haven't read the end, so I don't know, so I'll let you know. But so far it's really good. But they kill this guy called Bunny, and I think that you're meant to dislike him because there's something that he does. I think it's in like chapter 2, but don't quote me on that, I don't actually know. But they go to a cafe, and a certain view that he has does not sit right with me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, and so that's why I think, like, obviously we're probably meant to hate him before they, you know. And I mean, if that is the purpose, then you've succeeded, Miss Donna Tart. You have succeeded. I do not, from the moment this thing happened, I was like, I do not like this person. From the moment they told their views on a certain thing, I was like, can't wait for him to be dead. So the next chapter is 100 pages. And I just, why? I've just got to the chapter where things are starting to like unfold, and we're starting to get like some of the story like shown to us. I was worried going into this that it would be too smart for me, that I wouldn't be able to understand what was going on. And yeah, it's smart, but it doesn't make me feel dumb for not understanding some of the things in here. And the character we're following is kind of like the outsider. I think that's why I don't feel dumb reading it, because this guy is also a bit like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, these people are weird, but I'm intrigued. And like, that is how I feel about this book. So yeah, I'm gonna read some more, and I'll come back to you probably tomorrow with some thoughts. Oh, I will say the way that this is written, like, really is just like, I can picture everything that's happening, which is so odd for me because normally, like, I'm not very good at it, but this is just like, I can see it as if it was a film. I look a bit more like, I look like Wednesday Addams. What I was gonna say is that I look a bit more Dark Academia today, don't I? Guys, this lipstick's really doing it for me. And it's the stripes, it's the black, it's my hair's up, I'm ready to study. Let's just take a moment, because wow. So I got to book 2. I was meant to stop after I got to book 2, but I couldn't. And so I read a bit more. So I'm a little bit over halfway through. And I'm just loving it. Like, I am ready to make this my whole personality. I haven't actually highlighted as much as I thought I would. I don't know, maybe it's because it's my first reading of it that I'm not like picking out certain things. I'm actually shocked that this book isn't making me feel dumb, because it's written so well and I'm just really enjoying myself. I'm on page 346. I've really been flying through this quicker than I thought I would. Not as quick as I want to, obviously, because I would love to get to the end of this book, but then I also wouldn't, because then what am I going to do with myself when I finish this? But I would like to get to the end to know what is going to happen. Why are these people making me think that murder is okay? Like, because Bunny is so annoying. I'm like, yeah, I would have done the same thing. Hello? No. No. But also, like, he is annoying. He's really annoying. He was annoying. He's dead now, but like, he was really annoying. Why were they even friends with him in the first place is my question. Like, if someone's that annoying, how can you be friends with them? I don't understand. I guess because he's already in the group, they can't really kick him out, but I would have. I've been meaning to update you guys like at certain points, and it's just so good that I cannot stop reading it. I'm like, I'll just read another, 2 pages, 3 pages. The fact that chapter, 5 was 100 pages finished me, like killed me off. But then I put it down and I was doing other things and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And so I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to read the rest. I'm gonna read some into book 2 a bit more, and that is what I did. But the next chapter is 100 pages as well, and so I feel like normally I read 100 pages like pretty quickly, but the writing's dense, so I feel like that's what's taking me a little longer. Not dense in a way that like it's hard to read, like it's not hard to read, but dense in the way that you really have to pay attention. So that's why I'm a bit behind, I think, of what I would normally be. But anyway, yeah, I'll come back to you with some thoughts when I have them. I'll probably read another chapter, to the next chapter, wherever that is. I cannot stop thinking about Henry. I know Henry Winter is kind of a bad character, but I literally love him. I don't know why. He's a bad character, but he does good things. And I think that's why I'm obsessed. Like, I just can't stop thinking about him. So, I finished The Secret History. Finishing this book, I just felt like numb. Like, I didn't know what to do. And I think that's a combination of things. The fact that I'll never see these characters again, like that is the only time that I'm gonna be able to experience the characters if I'm reading this book. And I don't think if I reread it I would experience them in the same way either. So it was kind of that, but it was also how it ended, like the way that their lives turned out in the end kind of just had me feeling like like, okay. I was shocked at what happened to Henry. I won't spoil anything, but I was shocked. I can't say like that it doesn't make sense, because it does make sense, but it doesn't mean I wasn't shocked. Everything that happened to all of them sort of makes sense, but still I was feeling a bit like, whoa, like, okay, I've just read this book. I've just read this book after so long, and I just feel like, wow, it's a lot. In terms of like this being the first Dark Academia book I've ever read, I don't think I've read another Dark Academia book, but in terms of that, I think this is a good starting point. Even though it's like dense and like, you know, sometimes there is things that are hard to understand, it's not like, it does it in a way that you can understand it, like even if you're not very like into like Greek myths or the classics, you know. I think it does a good job with that, and I think this is a good starting point for Dark Academia. I think like reading this first was a good idea, because this is kind of like the blueprint. I think like everyone says that it's the blueprint of like academia books now. Like this is like the first one, and every other one after this is like sort of like another person's interpretation of it. So I think starting with this is a good idea if you want to. I know for sure that I'm going to be reading If We Were Villains, and I don't know why, but I have a sneaky suspicion that that might be more up my alley than this was, just because I'm more of like a drama student. I do prefer like acting over literature, so I'll see how that one goes. But I mean, it's Shakespeare, so again, it's literature, but it's different in the way that this is discussing like philosophers and like old Greek like myths. So that's all that I have to say, like spoiler free wise. I will just do a little spoiler like what my thoughts are, because I have a few things to say. But yeah, I did enjoy this book. I would give it a 5 stars, but I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite books like ever. I'd say like I really did enjoy it, and like halfway through reading it I was like, I want to read it, I want to turn back to page 1 and read it again. Like I was so invested in it. I just think I got bored a bit towards the end because nothing was really happening, and I just got a little bit bored, just because we did have like, I'd say like this much of the book, like the first half was so like tense, and it's like, what's gonna happen? And then it happens, and then it's kind of like, okay, what now? And I did get kind of bored, but I think that's also just because like it is a lot. But like I say, I gave it a 5 stars. I enjoyed it. I just wouldn't say it's one of my favorite books. Like I would recommend it, and I would say it's good, like a good Dark Academia book. Is made me think like, yeah, I can be in my Dark Academia era, and I like some of the characters, not all of them. Some of the characters I like, and I love a morally grey story about morally grey people. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But now I'm gonna say my spoilery thoughts. Number 1, I did not take in the fact that Richard throughout the novel would say how good he is at lying. And so I was just taking everything he said at face value. And then I realised, well, I didn't realise, I saw someone else say that he's an unreliable narrator. And I was like, oh shit, like, you're right. You're right. And so I was just believing everything he said, which I think is a me problem. So that's that. The incest thing, like, why did that have to be a thing? I don't know, but like, it's annoying because Charles was a great character, but I don't know if I can forgive him after hearing stuff. But then he was suffering like grief and like probably like anxious about, I don't know, he killed someone, so it's not like I know how that feels, but like I'm sure it sucks. So yeah, I don't know, maybe we have to give him a pass. Henry killing himself was like, it threw me through a loop. Also, I wasn't as like sad as I would like probably should have been, because Henry was one of my favorite characters, but he did like towards the end like really annoy me. Like him and Charles towards the end like really annoyed me. Like them bickering, it's just like, come on, like get it together, like come on. But I didn't expect him to do that, so I was a bit like, oh okay, but it makes sense. The fact that the end of this book is just like Richard being like, none of us are happy, like no one who participated in this is having a good time, like some of us want to, you know, and even Henry cannot escape his depression in the afterlife, like he is also not having a good time even in death. So that was what kind of just made me feel like, oh okay, it's kind of just made me feel like empty, I don't know. And it's a great way to end a novel, because I'll be thinking about it now, like not that I wasn't thinking about them anyway, like I was thinking about them 24/7, like this novel was like in my head like all the time. When I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about it. But ending it like that is sort of like, do I want them to be happy? Do they deserve to be happy? Do they deserve to be sad? Like, what would Bunny say? Like, it doesn't, yeah, I just, it's food for thought. And also like, I disliked Bunny throughout the whole thing, like just terrible man. That's it. Like, I cannot get over the homophobia, and that's it. End of the line. But yeah, I did enjoy this book. And I cannot wait to read more Dark Academia books, because I did thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm excited to read a bit more. I'm a bit disappointed in myself that this isn't like, that I'm not as enthralled with this as everyone else. Like, I was hoping that this would be one of my new favorite books that I could be like, oh, The Secret History, like everyone should read it. And yeah, true, everyone should read it, but I'm not like, this is the best Dark Academia book, mostly because I haven't read another one. I think if I read this again, I would have a very different perspective on everything. And maybe I will in a few like years, just to let it simmer a little bit in my brain. But yeah, this was a good book. I enjoyed reading it, except from the bit that I got bored. That was a bit of a slog. The long chapters weren't it, but I got through them, and now I feel like I can read anything. Like, if there's only 8 chapters in a 624 page book and I can read all of them, then what can I do? Like, there's nothing I can't do. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you stayed to the end, I love you. You're great. Tell me your thoughts on The Secret History, spoiler free and spoilery. But obviously, if you're going to put a spoiler comment on the comments, then make sure that you leave a little warning, spoilery warning, so that someone doesn't stumble upon it accidentally. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.